Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Ideas Matter on YouTube. Bobby, welcoming you on board. Today we're going to talk about the effect of slavery and slave trade, and colonization and neocolonialism and all of that, Given that, there was a lot of both positive and negative effect. In fact, there's very little positive effect. Positive effect maybe to the colonizers, and negative effect mostly on the colonized, in other words, the Africans. So this video, this topic is going to be separated into two. So this is part one, and in this part one, we're going to focus on the effects, and then part two, we're going to focus on the proposals, what we can propose as solutions. So you watch out for part two of this video on this topic, and then remember to always share and subscribe the video and share, so we can share some of these ideas. We hope on Ideas Matter. We're concerned about everyone, concerned about everybody, about the world, the citizens of the world, not only the citizens of a particular country or of a particular continent. So remember to always share, subscribe, the comment, make a comment down there. Is what helps us. That is what helps us to to push forward. That's what gives us the energy to be able to keep the work going, so it can benefit all of us. We will want to immediately focus on the effects, as we said. Of course, we know that when we were blaming Hitler of Germany for having massacred 6 million Jews, but when you look at only one country in Africa, the Congo, in Congo, more than 10 millions massacred. History says that half of the Congo was massacred by King Leopold II. So when you look at the mass scale, you see that's a whole generation of a people, a whole race, in fact, a whole population of a country, all gone. Now imagine if that population was not massacred at the time, what it could do as of, up to this time. You see, all the resources of Africa, because of colonization, all our resources shipped out, our minerals shipped out of the continent, leaving Africa almost in a shackle, almost nothing. And see, putting neo-colonial governments in place, see our leaders, even though they're blacks, looking like the people of the country, the people of that place, they are serving the interests of the white, those who do everything for them to stay in place. Because whoever stays in power this long is determined by those out there, depending on how they're benefiting from that leader, to the disadvantage of the people, most often to the disadvantage of the people they are governing. You see, because of this colonialism, we lost what was, we were kings and queens. You can see the Moors ruling Europe. Of course, we did rule the world before. But because of colonialism, because of slavery and slave trade, we lose this power. Also, in addition, because of the foolishness of our own race, the black people. Jealousy, hatred, envy, tribal wars, which created an influence. It made it easier for the Europeans to come in and take advantage of this lack of unity, lack of peace, lack of understanding among ourselves. So, as they often say, when two brothers fight themselves to death, it's the enemy that benefits. So that was what happened. So because of this, all our resources shipped outside. Leaders put in place conditional independence. Now, when the UN thought that it was time for countries to be given independence, countries were given independence, but conditional independence. In the Cameroons, for example, when you look at Omnobé and Ernest Wanji, these are the true people from the Republic or La Republic of Cameroon. Those are the true La Republicans. But because of the interest of the white, or the French, for example, La Coopération Française, which Ernest Wanji thought that it was not going to be good for the people. So you see today, the wars that are going all around Africa, people die. Look at in the Cameroons, for example, partition. But because of partition, lines were drawn on the pieces of paper. If you look on the map, the original map of Africa and the map of Africa after colonization. You see, different countries, lines drawn on the map, different countries cut off, some tribes cut off and given to other countries. So that, that desire, that willingness for people to live together, that understanding, that feeling of belonging was set apart. And so people saw themselves as people of different, they don't belong. And so you see, things fall apart. And things, when Okonkwo says, the people of Omofia, when things fall apart, when the center can no more hold. What is the center? Those cultural values that kept Africans together, kept the people of Omofia together, because of colonization, because of the coming of the white man and his influence. What he brought in set confusion among the people, disunity, distrust, quarreling, fighting all the time, tribal wars. You see, that's what is chaos in Africa. So people losing their lives. See, administratively, new governments came in place, replacing, our kings and queens. We had empires. We have kingdoms, empires, kings. Haile Selassie, for example. See, he was there. Sondiata. All of this. See, Sumanguru. These were our kings. The kings, a lot of them. Of course, we said that history has it that, everybody knows about this. Civilization started in Egypt. So we look at all this. Now they say the black people had nothing. But look at the Sokoto Empire. All of this, they stood out. It's not like black people did not. Check out on your dictionary. Yes, I'm talking to all of us watching. Check out in your dictionary what's the meaning of an empire. So you can see that Africa, it was destroyed because of colonialism. Slave trade, our people being shipped out of the country like goods, working and developing the colonizers or the European, developing their countries, working in their own industry, working in their farm, used as slaves to work at home, use them among themselves, killing it, even distrusting among it, what we used to have as house slaves and the farm slaves. The house slaves feeling the comfort in the home, reporting their brothers in the farm who were proposing they should run away, so making suggestions about how they can escape. And so we think that black people, they really suffer. Today you see the Americans, the black Americans, they're kind of angry with their African brothers who come to the state. They're angry with them because they feel that they sold them out. They sold them to the white man, and they went and suffered. So we understand. Everybody can feel something like that. It's true. But then, what can we do? We're going to have to seek for solutions. So watch out for part 2. That's why I said watch out for part 2. Then subscribe this video. So we see that Africa lost a lot. We lose a lot of things. If you look at in the social sector, for example, all our amenities, everything that we had there, our cultural values, the way we treated people, traditional healers and all of that, those things were almost destroyed. Today is just a shackle. Those leaders that have been put in place, they don't serve the interests of the people. Look at our resources continuously being shipped abroad, continuously. Our leaders going, signing deals, getting money, whatever money they get. They keep stealing the money again. Use the part of the money to buy arms to keep preparing for whoever that will rise up against them. And so they will keep fighting each other. We don't produce any arms. We don't produce war ammunition. We don't produce some of those war planes and so on. But see in Africa how so much of the gun is there. So you see, these are all the effects of colonization, slavery and slave trade, bringing about distrust, hate, and all. So people fighting. Different tribes that were pushed together to live together not to their own will, not to their own willingness, but because of the willingness of another person who is achieving. Imagine all of our goals, resources were shipped out. We had cultural relics, all our cultural relics. How can Africa ever be rich again? How can Africa? But then, we think that Africa can still make it, just because of the bad leaders, whose interest is to serve those who protect them to stay in place for this long. See, African leaders stay in power for 30 years, 35 years, 40 years, 40-something. What kind of democracy is that? We say democracy is A government of the people, by the people, for the people, but by the people. But who are the people ruling the government? Where do they put their focus is in Europe. Whenever they get money from the proceeds that they sell in the country, they carry the money and bank in Europe, invest in Europe in their own names, buying private jets and so on, expensive cars, investing in the name of their children, while the masses suffer. So we see that we have suffered. Actually, look at technology. Instead of building some of those industries so that we can process the resources that we have, the resources are shipped out of the country. Whatever money that is sold, the ship also ship it out. So the citizens suffer. Instead of setting up some of those industries, so the colonizers would not help them to set up some of these industries. So that they continuously, exploiting our resources and taking them abroad, taking them to their own countries. And then Africa is left there. There's mass corruption, there's unemployment in the government sector. Citizens, because of unemployment, poverty, and all of this, there's nothing they can do. Crime wave is high, prostitution, people, some joining ISIS, some joining Boko Haram, and so on and so on. You see, there's total chaos in the place. You see, people, our citizens, most of the children in Africa would prefer to leave the continent at the risk of facing death, at the risk of their own life. See how many die in the sea. So part two, we're going to propose solution. So please watch our solution. See how many black Africans, most Africans, they die in the sea. Some die in the desert, some devoured by lions and other wild animals, snakes swallowing them. And so in the bushes, because people are fleeing from a continent that is so rich with mineral resources. We should be, in other words, should be the most developed continent on this earth. But see what it is. It's just a shackle of it. So we hope that the world, the world can also be fair. We can have sympathy. Because when these Africans leave, they go running to your country because they know that all what is here in their own continent, what is in their own continent, the good things that are supposed to benefit them are all shipped out there. And so they see the level of development or how you use their people. Of course, history. They read history. They see all what happened. They know some of these facts. You use their people to develop your country, develop your continents, and so on. And today, you don't want them because you already developed. And all the technology of the black people were shipped out there. Black people produce a lot of things in the world, but they don't want to show that this was produced by the black man. So a lot of things cover up. So a kind of complicity to keep black people in chain, or naming. When after colonization, you see, they start naming, saying, okay, people that look like this is white, people that look black. All these adjectives in language were curved by the colonizers, naming people that look like us to be black. But when you look at the black people, when you look at the real color black, I don't know which one I'm going to use here, for example. When you look at the real color black, it's not. When you look at my hair, for example, and you look at my body, or you look at the body of a black man and look at his body, of course it's not the same. Some people, even if the hair is as black as the body, not all black people look the same. So whatever name that African had that they were describing themselves was taken off. The white man now used his own adjective, saying that black. And when you check the meaning of what black mean in your dictionary, you can check it up yourself. See what the meaning of black, what that adjective stands for, the characteristics that follow with that black description. Everything is negative. Now check the meaning of white. When you look at the people who call themselves white, look at the color of white here, for example. Is that how their bodies look? And then you see, when you check the meaning of white, look at the goodies, the good things that are described. Angelic, clean, pure. That's how they are. And so our religion, for example, our religions were destroyed, bringing their own religion to replace our own religion. See what happened to our so-called men of God. So, false prophecy, so said, preaching these prosperity messages to the people. So said, by next year you're going to be this, by deceiving the people, sometimes thieves, and the government of Africa are watching. The people suffering. But my question is, what did Africans do? What did the black man do to suffer like this? So please, we hope that the world can also help some of these African leaders. So watch out for part 2. And black people mostly. Please watch, subscribe, and let us share and educate ourselves. Thank you for watching.